Welcome back to my hardcore survival series. This time I will be trying to survive 200 days in Minecraft Hardcore. You can check out what happened during the first 100 days in this world by clicking on the link in the description. Also, only a small percentage of you guys watching my videos are subscribed. So if you would subscribe to my channel, that would help me out a lot, and it's 100% free. So, this is part 1 of the 200 days. I hope you enjoy. Day 101 I started traveling back to my main compound. When I arrived back home, I gave Junior a hug. I missed him so much. I also tried hugging the sheep with a sword. You know what else I did that day? That's right. Farming, breeding, and getting XP. Day 102 I figured that I wanted my storage space to be better organized. But in order to do that properly, I first had to get all the stuff outside the building. I also spilled my seed that day. At the end of the day, I had a concept design ready for the interior. All I did on day 103 was organizing all the stuff I had. Really not much else. On day 104 I more or less finished the new storage room and had everything organized. I did some farming and breeding some chickens to celebrate. Day 105. Farming. I also placed some more beds for, you know, possible woman company. Wink wink. I then went to the village. I really missed the sounds of profit coming into my inventory. I decided to once again fill up my super furnace to make even more profit. So that is what I did with the sunset in front of me. The next day started off by doing some useless terraforming. I also did some farming and then the productive part of the day started. I laid down the foundations of a new secret building that I wanted in my village. After doing that though, I went straight back to profits and destroying village property. I woke up late on day 107 and continued working on my new building. I still won't tell you what it is. On day 108 I finally went back to the spider spawner to clear it and prepare it for a future farm. I then finally finished my secret building, the villager breeder. I placed some beds so that the villagers could sleep. However, it became night already, so I claimed one of the old villager homes and made it my own. Operation Move the Villagers started on day 109. And damn, I hate villagers. They never listen and I can't wait for the update where I can put a leash on villagers to drag them to their new prison. Anyways, after a whole day of moving villagers around, I finally managed to get 3 of them into their new home. I gave them some bread and went to sleep next to them. At the morning of day 110, the villagers already got their first child. What a cutie. After that, my hunger for profit started to heat up again, so I did some fair trades with the villagers. I returned to my main compound and made a new shovel with efficiency 4 and a breaking 3. I then went on to test my new speedy shovel in the mine. I even found some diamonds. Day 111 showed perfectly how my epic redstone knowledge finally dropped off its fruits. My 1-block sheep farm gave me 41 wool. No more cold feet. After that, I went to prepare for a trip to the end. However, after searching for quite some time and finding a jungle biome, I still did not manage to find my end shack. I was too proud to look up the coordinates I wrote down, so I went back home and gave up my quest. Psych! Of course I did not give up on my noble quest. Day 112 I was still looking for my shack and after a damn long time I found it. Next to the shack I made a nether portal so that I could connect my nether highway to this place. Day 113 I first did some nether exploring to see if there was any danger close by. When I secured the area, I went back to the end portal and jumped in. I found the smaller portal that would bring me to the end cities and built a stairway to it. I did not go in it yet because I felt like I was not prepared for that enough. After getting the stuff I needed on day 114, I went back to the end and threw an ender pearl into the smaller portal and got to the other end. I really need to find out how they call it biome. I walked to the left side of the portal as long as I could without building new bridges, but did not find an end city. Back to home then. It was a filled adventure. On day 115 I connected the main compound to the end shack with my new nether highway. When I got home though, I saw 2 baby chickens who escaped their farm. I'm not a cruel person, so I let them live and even gave them a hug. With my sword. After that, I finally covered up the hole where I made my first house on day 1. It was like closing a chapter of my life and starting a new one. Day 116 I did some organizing, farming and making profit to repair my pickaxe. I also gave the villagers more bread so that they would continue to multiply. Day 117 I was filling my super furnace with new fuel when I found out a new officer had spawned. Thank God. Now I feel safe again. The rest of the day I was working on a way to transform my spider spawner into an XP farm. It became dark already, so I went to bed. The next day I first did some profit making and then I continued work on the XP farm. I finally managed to get the spawning room ready to work. At night I fought some monsters to repair my tools. Day 119 I finished one of the last parts of the spider farm. Now I only needed a collection system. The rest of the day I made profit and shoveled a whole mountain of sand, which looked quite epic if I say so myself. I cashed in on my profits on day 120 and after that I went home to see how much money I had in total. I told you before and I'll say it again. I will be the richest man on this Minecraft world. I went on to clear the land around my main compound by destroying some air machines. I also watched the sunset together with my lovely dogs. I missed that a lot. Day 121 I wanted to make a new dedicated space for my trophies. So I started with expanding my land with dirt. After that I had to redo some parts of my design, but I managed to get it to look pretty good considering my building skills. I placed down my dragon egg and the flower for our fallen officers. Want to know what I did on day 122? I enchanted a fishing rod to get a name tag. I fished all day and only got fish. In my anger I threw away the fishing rod and went to bed. I was actually productive on day 123. I did some farming, animal breeding, and then I went to the nether to find netherite. After mining a lot and a few times an almost broken pickaxe, I managed to find 4 netherite scrap and made my first netherite ingot back home. I made a netherite pickaxe and enchanted it with efficiency 4. All in all, this was a great day. On day 124 an inspector from Greenpeace invaded my storage room to check for stolen nature. I dealt with him as if he was my best friend. And to take even more revenge, I took down a whole forest just to piss them off even more. At the end of the day, I started working on a big project, but that project included breaking down my house. With tears in my eyes I started breaking the house down, still destroying my old house on day 125, and I even broke my old seating area and took the flowers. I then hugged another escaped chicken. The rest of the day I did some farming and making profit to repair my axe. Day 126 I started working on my new project. I wanted to make a new house in a beach style. At the end of the day I almost had my first floor done and I watched the sunset. I continued working on my house on day 127, but as usual stuff didn't go really well, so I had to break down a small part that I had miscalculated. Day 128 I replaced my oak fences with dark oak ones. At the end of the day, most of my new house was done and I was really happy about it. Maybe I should have gone with spruce wood instead of dark oak, but nonetheless I still like this much more than my old house. I finished the last part of my house on day 129 with a small decoration farm underneath the first floor. It looked pretty nice if I say so myself. For one more night I slept under the stars. Day 130 started off with placing a bed in my new house. It's only one bed, so that day was the end of all the possible woman company. F in the chat. I then did some farming, and I went back to the village and did some more work on the XP farm. On the morning of day 131 I finished the XP farm, and since I had a Bane of Arthropods 4 sword, I can kill spiders in one hit. With the massive glass supply I now have because of the desert, I needed more cartographers to sell my glass panes to. So, I turned 2 more villagers into cartographers and went to make on more profit. I noticed on day 132 that there was now a whole army of officers in the nether reclaiming it as my property. Someday I will be able to live there without being scared of the monsters. The rest of the day I placed some more beds in the villager breeder, shoveled sand and got some XP to repair my pickaxe. Day 133 the villagers were still sleeping while it was already time to work. When they finally woke up, an iron golem decided to stand in a block. As the merciful landlord that I am, I helped him out. Back to profits. The new cartographers really made it easier to get a lot of emeralds. I then spent some time trying to repair my shovel with XP, and I also saw a strange red face in the XP farm. Apparently there was an invisible spider in this game. Well, the more you know. On day 134 I figured out how much time I wasted the day before because my shovel apparently did not have mending on it. And I was wondering all the time why the shovel's durability didn't go up. Oh well, seeing the fat stacks I made got me in a good mood again. The rest of the day I spent in the nether trying to make the way to the end shack horse-proof. I wanted to take Junior with me to the end. I started day 135 with the most daring thing I've ever done. I dropped Junior down the shaft and luckily he survived. I took him to the smaller end portal and let him stay there because I could not find a way to get him into an end city. Once I arrived in the other end, I started exploring the right side of the portal. After walking for an eternity I finally found an end city. But the disappointment was upon me because the end city did not have a ship, so no elytra for me. But I still cleared out the tower and got my first shulker box. When climbing to the top of the tower I spotted another end city nearby, and it had a ship. I was going to the second end city to loot the ship. When I was underneath the ship I could see a third end city in the distance already. The luck seems to be endless. I wanted to loot the ship as careful as I could, so I placed down water all around the floor so that I would not die of fall damage. The whole process was slow and methodical, but it worked. After some time I finally made it to the inner part and got some sick stuff and also my first elytra. Of course I did not forget about the dragon head. That's a new trophy of mine. Day 137 I started traveling back. I took Junior and jumped in the end portal to get back home. I spawned at the last place I went to sleep, in the village. But I could not see Junior anywhere close. I looked around in panic and gave up hope. Maybe he didn't make it. Back home, I made a little memorial for him, and right when I walked back, I spotted him. He was alive. Day 138 I put mending on my elytra and started building a launching platform to save fireworks. I did that for the rest of the day until I started fucking things up again and I went to sleep. Day 139 I finished the launching platform with a simple water elevator. I also did my first test flight. I enjoyed that really much, I must say, so I expect a lot of flying in the upcoming days. When sunset came, the last thing I did was placing some weird ant plants next to my enchantment room. Day 140 I expanded my sugarcane farm. I then placed some more ant plants and broke down my old mining shack. I don't need that house anymore since my lands are pretty safe these days. After that I did some terraforming but not much else. On day 141 I built a small bridge to connect my house better to my storage and nether portal. I also finished making my land flat to accommodate for building new stuff. Day 142 I harvested the crops and improved my land's infrastructure with new roads. At night I found a zombie who was holding a nautilus shell. Those are pretty rare. So I killed him and got the shell. After breaking down my old walls on day 143 I started working on a small living space for Junior. He deserved that. At the balcony of my first floor I even made a seating area, for old time's sake. And of course, I watched the sunset from there. All of day 144 was in the theme of making more profit. I made a new cartographer, expanded the farms in the village, and also shoveled a whole ton of sand that night. Day 145 I cashed in on my profits by selling a lot of glass and got some XP to repair my axe. Back home, at my main compound, I made a little board with some goals I wanted to reach before the end of the 200 days. At night, I did some animal breeding because I haven't done that in a while. I missed it. I started recording late on day 146, but I was working all day on collecting resources for a new building project on the edge of my land. I wanted to try and make a lighthouse so that I could find my land easier while traveling by boat. To get wool easier on day 147 I made my sheep farm even bigger. The problem wasn't getting white wool, it was getting the red wool because only a few sheep gave me the red wool, and I didn't have any dyes left. While waiting for my wool to grow, I did some farming, and honestly, it's one of the most satisfying things to do in Minecraft. Day 148 the work on the lighthouse continued and I was almost finished at the end of the day. On day 149 I finally finished building the lighthouse. It isn't as pretty as I imagined, but then again, I'm a really bad builder. If I think about it, there isn't really anything in Minecraft that I'm especially good at, so that's a big F. The rest of the day I started preparing my land and getting some resources for a small project on day 150. A new milestone. I survived 150 days already. That needs a celebration. I worked all day on a celebration cake, just like on day 50, but this time I did it a bit better. At least, that was the idea because the result of my building once again looked terrible. So, I made a better celebration build. And after a lot of work, I was finally satisfied with my 150 day milestone build. There is no better way to start a new episode of Hardcore Survival than to get scared to death by an invisible creeper. For real, there was no creeper the second before it blew up. This game is haunted for sure. I continued day 51 by making Greenpeace unhappy once again by destroying a whole ecosystem. At night, I placed some torches around my land to prevent some further mob spawning. It didn't work. On day 52 I wanted to fix the mob spawner by lighting up caves in the surrounding area. After a while, I got distracted by all those sweet ores laying around for me. So anyways, I started mining. Day 53 I went back to farming because my crops were full grown. And yes, I'm still proud of my automatic potato farm. I also stole some wool from my lovely sheep. On day 54 I visited the village and on my way I found our trusty officers had secured the nether area. It's now safe ground again. The rest of the day is about profits. I shoveled a mountain of sand to turn into more emeralds. I love it. At night I decided to fly around the village to explore the land. After a minute or so I found a desert temple. Next day was still about profit. The sounds of emeralds in my inventory made me real happy in the darkest of moments. I found a mushroom forest as well and took them with me. Maybe they would come in handy for some building projects. Oh, and back home I finally put mending on my shovel. Day 56 I was just looking over my land, creating ideas for new projects and figuring out what to do next. I really didn't do much else, I'm sorry. A new day, some more dangerous exploring. I went into the nether to mine netherite, but after some time I found something I've never seen before in Minecraft. It appeared to be a bastion or something. So I looted it. Slow and steady. It had a few gold blocks, but I didn't want to overstay my welcome with the local population, so I went home. Day 58 I did what I planned on doing the day before. Mining for netherite really sucks, but I was lucky with a few 3-ore veins. Before nightfall I found 8 ancient debris. I made a netherite helmet and pants and enchanted them, but holy shit! Those enchantments are so bad. This game hates me. Back to fixing tools to ease the pain. On day 59 I started my new project. I wanted to defeat the Wither boss, and I'd never done that before, so I wanted to prepare as much as I could. I made strength 2 potion and started mining a lot of obsidian to make sure the Wither would not escape his prison. Day 60 was me just farming Wither skeletons. It took a whole day of almost dying and running around, but I managed to get my 4 Wither skulls. Day 61 I went mining to get some more ancient debris to finish my netherite armor. When I found the last 8 ancient debris I went back to the overworld to prepare for the battle. I cleared out a room on bedrock level to spawn the Wither. Up in the house I finished my full set of enchanted netherite armor. I'm immortal now. I also made some golden apples just to be safe. Alright, time to fight. I put on my full netherite armor, took a pre-fight selfie and went down to the room. I made a cage of obsidian so the Wither could not escape. I placed down the blocks, ate my golden apple and spawned the Wither. The fight was truly epic. Back and forth, but at some point the Wither destroyed obsidian and started going up in the roof. I got scared because we were right under my compound. The panic grabbed me and I started missing hits, and that's when it happened. I died. I died to the Wither. That stupid 3-headed bitch killed me. Fuck! So that's the end of this series of Minecraft Hardcore Survival. I really discovered a lot of things in my series, but my experience was not enough to beat the Wither on this difficulty. But don't be blue my friends, because I can happily announce that a new season of Minecraft Hardcore Survival is coming very soon. With better quality, more memes and hopefully more episodes as well. Thank you for joining me once again, leave a like if you're excited for the new season, don't forget to subscribe to not miss out when I upload, and I'll see you guys very soon.